it. I like that.
So is this going to go to the goalies or the team, or
Yeah, it'll probably go to the team. You know what I mean? I'll share with everybody.
Awesome. So, hey, Team Xplosive. I hope you're enjoying quarantine and being safe and smart, wearing those masks now that it's mandatory in most states. Also take time to reach out to Trey and see how he's doing, check in with him, make sure you're hitting your fitness and your recovery, hydration, right? We were just talking about that. So a little bit about myself. My name is Jess Jecko. I'm a goalkeeper on the U.S. Women's National Team. I graduated from a teeny tiny high school up in New York that we had 100 people in our class, and 1/6 of the class was twins. It was something weird like that. Was a 3-sport athlete there, kind of a no name, which made it kind of fun. Then I attended Syracuse University, was a captain there, and I'll get into other details here later, but I just threw them on there. I won the Division I national championship. I'm a current member of the U.S. Women's National Team, and I took a year and went and played abroad. And I'm still on the national team, still love it, still training every day. So this is my time at Sequoia Valley. On the top right corner is my twin sister. We were both goalkeepers. So the whole reason I started playing with field hockey was we were both goalkeepers in soccer. We'd rotate. One was a field player, and one was a goalkeeper. And then it came time in middle school when you had to decide what you wanted to do. And I saw field hockey being played after a softball game up on the field next door, and I was like, what is that sport? It's a weird sport. I was like, all right, let's give it a whirl. So one of my best friend's older sister played field hockey, and she brought me to a game, and they're like, you're a catcher in softball, right? And I was like, yeah. And they're like, here's some pads. I was like, all right, sure, let's put them on. And so I did, and fell in love with it. This was my high school senior season. On the left, we had the best season ever at Sequoia Valley, and had like 8 or 9 seniors. So we were a really tight group. In the bottom right corner is my signing day at Sequoia Valley. And I was the first female at Sequoia Valley to ever go Division I. So I really thank my coach, who's on the left in the white shirt. She would stand out after practice and just hit tennis balls at me because she knew that I wanted to play at a high level. And my mom was probably crying up a storm. She's very emotional, and my dad. And that day was one of the most meaningful days. Kind of was scary. I was only recruited by one Division I. I was recruited by a lot of D3s and a couple of D2s, and I reached out to a couple of D1s, and they said, do you play club? No. Do you play futures? And I said, no. And I just want to play. I want to become the best goalkeeper I can be. And they said, sorry, there isn't a spot here on the team. But because I live so close to Syracuse, I was only an hour away, that I could attend their clinics. And my junior year, Ange Bradley came up to me and said, hey, you're really good. Would you be interested in coming here? And I was like, so when you're from New York, Syracuse is the school to go to, or like the dream school, because you don't have the Yankees are down in New York City, and then in upstate New York, it's really Syracuse. Everyone bleeds orange. And I was like, oh my gosh, did she just say that? And my dad and I are looking at each other. Okay. So I decided to go and play at my dream school. I was been attending their games for 5 years, but that also meant that I was no longer able to play softball, because if I went Division III, I was thinking I'm going to play field hockey and softball, be a dual sport athlete. And so I decided I'm going to hang up the softball cleats and switch over and focus more on field hockey. So this is my time at Syracuse University. So probably like a lot of seniors at Xplosive, you go from being the best player on your team to then in college, I was probably the worst player on the team, not really fit, thought I was fit, thought I was training hard enough. I was not training hard enough. And I actually played 36 minutes my freshman year. So I went from being this all-star and 3-sport athlete to sitting on the bench. So learning my mindset, that was a big adjustment, because I've always played. I've never sat on the bench. I didn't know how to sit on the bench, how to be a team player. So you have to kind of find that balance, and I was happy to be on the team. That was me. I was happy to be there. I had a Syracuse jersey. I got to represent Syracuse orange. But then my sophomore year came, and the senior goalkeeper graduated, and I said my freshman summer and going into my sophomore year, I took that time to really grow, and I stayed at Syracuse and worked my strength coach 2 to 1 time a day and saw how I could grow as an athlete. And taking that time allowed me to get a starting spot at Syracuse. And so I was a no-name recruit out of Sequoia. Now my sophomore year, I'm starting for Sequoia, or not Sequoia, Syracuse, sorry. Starting for Syracuse. And I remember my first time in cage, I was like, oh my gosh, this is happening. Oh, like it was like Syracuse Orange, Jess Jecko. And I was like, oh, what? I'm playing for Syracuse and just really excited. And we had a good season, nothing really crazy. We weren't the best team that we could be, but we did make it to, oh no, we actually lost. Sorry, this is my sophomore year. We lost in the Sweet 16, which was absolutely brutal because we were supposed to kind of make it to the Final Four and we had these high expectations and we didn't meet them. So then it's kind of changing your mindset to how can I be better next year? I don't want to just settle on being a starter. How can I actually make an impact on this team? And so that summer, I played in this tournaments for college players, and at the tournament is when I was selected for the U21 team. So I had one tryout for the tournament and then another tryout for, it's called junior national camps. And at the junior national camps, I was selected for the U21 team. So in this year, I went from starting for Syracuse to now in a U.S. team, and everything was just kind of, I didn't know what was happening. I was just excited. And then my junior year, so I'm back at Syracuse, just named to the U21 team, and I don't know how my coach decided to bench me because she didn't think I was focused enough. She thought that just because I had a U.S. jersey on, or for the U21 team, that I needed to refocus and realize why I was at Syracuse. And I did, because guess what? That year, I was on a mission to prove her wrong. I said, I'm going to accept that challenge, because she knew exactly what button to push for me, how she could get the best out of me. So this is my junior year, and if you guys look at this photo, you see a team celebrating. But what you don't see is this team that we were an okay team that year. We lost to UNC twice in the ACC, and then we lost to we weren't a very good team. And going into this was a Final Four. So we just made it to the Final Four for the 3rd time in program history. So we're really, really excited. This game was, I think, the longest game ever played. Maybe not, actually, I need to fact check that. In field hockey, we're playing against UNC in the Final Four. We've never been to a national championship. We've lost to UNC twice before, and we go into shootouts. Or we go into overtime. We go into double overtime, and then we go to shootouts, and then we go to sudden death shootouts. And we end up beating UNC in sudden death shootouts and going for the first time ever in program history to a national championship. And if you look in this photo, you might be able to find me. Can you find me, Trey? You see me there?
I'm looking. It's hard.
So I'm in the bottom. If you look at number 30, who's sitting on the ground, there's a little yellow jersey there. Yep.
I do. I see it.
Yeah. So I decided, note to self, if you're ever in a dog pass situation, goalkeepers, don't run full at the team. So the team ran this way and I ran this way, and I got trampled on and thrown on my back. But still, we were so excited to be able to play in a national championship. And you can see the emotions. You can see the tears. This is what we've worked for all summer, all fall, all spring. This is the hard laps that you run that you don't want to run, the breakfast clubs, the balancing of school and social life and family. This is what it's for, to be able to celebrate with your teammates like that. But we go on to the national championship game against UConn, and we lose 1-0. And you were happy to be there, but still this bittersweet feeling when you're standing and watching UConn hold up the national championship trophy. And this is my junior year, so I only have 1 more year left to kind of fulfill a dream that I've always had of winning a national championship. I remember going into Syracuse my freshman year and saying, I want to win a national championship here. And that's why I wanted to go there. And the seniors, Emma Russell and Melissa Manley and I, we were, when UConn was winning, we were hugging each other, crying with each other, and we're like, not next year, not next year. We're winning it next year. And so going into my senior year, we had to get freshmen to understand that we only had 1 more year. So when you're younger, you know, you're like, oh, next year, next year is going to be my year. But it's not. It's realizing that you're playing as a freshman to give your full potential to an not an upperclassman, but they're working as hard as they want to win something. And as a freshman, you can also buy into that. So we had to get the freshmen on board, the sophomores and juniors, to realize that this is a special team. We could do something greater, like great for this program, great for the school. We could win a national championship. And so I remember the very first day of preseason, that was probably one of our best practices. We all believed in each other. We all trusted each other. We all knew that we did the work over the summer. So it wasn't skipping workouts. It wasn't skipping, pretty much the workouts. You had to do them, and people came in, and I think the most people have ever passed their fitness test right away. So we could practice right away. And if you guys look at the pictures, so there's my family. They're just so cute. I love that cute. It's my older sister. People don't know. The one that's holding the baby, she's actually older than me. She's smaller than me. And then this was a transformation. So from my freshman to senior year, and I went in as my freshman year. I'm pretty honest, I went through this. And my freshman year, I went in and I weighed 195. And by my senior year, I was down to 145, 150, on a good day, bad day. So just kind of realizing that if I was carrying more weight, it was going to slow me down. So losing that weight made me a better athlete, more explosive in cage, kind of helped me reach my goals.
I like that. I like that word you used.
Explosive.
More explosive?
Yes.
Yeah.
Just try to make sure I make every save that I can, try to push off hard and get that ball.
Absolutely.
Yes. And so, like I said, my senior year, we had a great team. We went undefeated all through regular play. Won our first ACC regular season champs. We're like, woo, we're undefeated. But then going to the ACC, so how it works, if people don't know, you have the regular season, and then you have the ACC Championship, and then you have the NCAA tournament. So the NCAA tournament and the ACC championships, you have to be selected for those. And it depends on which conference. So the ACC championship, we're playing for the championship. We've never won one. We're like, all right, we've undefeated. We've already beat UNC. We're ready to play them. But UNC is always one of those teams at Syracuse and UNC. We always have a bloodbath. We always play each other full field where it's a sprinting game. It's hard. Like we know them. They know us very well. And so we ended up losing the ACC championship. And I really respect my coach for this because she made us watch them celebrate. She said, we're not going to the locker room when they get their trophy. Everyone turn around. So we all stood there, like typical girls. We're like they just won crying. If you guys, I didn't take my helmet off in this picture because there was tears in my eyes and I knew there was a camera following me because they always like to watch the goalie. And so we stood there and we watched, and then she said, in 2 weeks, we're going to be holding that trophy. And we're all like, yeah, let's do this. Like, yeah, you know what? This is good. We aren't, people can beat us. And I think it almost helped us that we lost the ACC championship because it made us want to work harder. That next week of practice, we're pushing each other. We're making sure we're touching every line. We're doing everything that we can do to make sure we don't let this happen again. Because if you lose in the NCAA tournament, you're done. Season's over. Everything you worked for, over. And so we're going to the NCAA tournament. We win the Sweet 16. We win the Elite Eight. And then we're in the Final Four, we're playing UConn, who won the national championship from us last year. So it's bittersweet. We're like, let's go. Come on, UConn. And we kind of won that game easy. There was no emotion after the game. We were excited. There was no dog pile. We weren't just happy to be going to the national championship. And then who other than do we see in the national championship? UNC. So obviously we knew it was going to be a tough game. And the score, we go up 2-0 at halftime. We're feeling good. We're like, yeah, let's go. And then at halftime, they come out with first 5 minutes, score a goal, 2-1. Then all of a sudden it's 2-2. So we're like, okay, we can't let this slip away. And then we get 3-2. And with 10 minutes left on the clock, the UNC pulls their goalkeeper, and we go up 4-2. And then with 5 minutes left, we get a card. So now we're playing down 2 players. They have the momentum, and a stroke is called. So like, cool, 2 minutes left in the game, national championship, pressure's high. And thankfully, Nina Notman scored on me the year before on a stroke, and I dove the right way and I got it. And I'll never forget that moment, because I remember thinking in my head, I'm either going to make the last save. This could be the last save of my career at Syracuse, or this could be a goal. It's either easy. And I remember looking at her and I was like, okay, I'm going to make the save. So I make the save, team comes celebrating, 2 minutes left, let's play. Also, it was, I don't know, I can't even explain that. I'm getting all excited right now. That's just, woo. And so we go on and we win the first national championship by a female sports team ever at Syracuse University. And you can just see the excitement, the joy. But I think winning the national championship was more rewarding because of all the hard work that went in prior to that. I just think of the senior class that I went through all this with. We had the good times, we had the bad times, we had the terrible times. There's times that we just ran sprint after sprint and we wanted to give up. And it was kind of digging deep and looking each other in the eyes and saying, I'm not going to give up because of her. I'm not going to give up because of you. And I need my teammates to trust and believe in me, know that I'm doing that work, putting everything I have in for this team, even if it's only 2 hours a day, or say you're doing a 20-minute workout today or tomorrow, but you're giving yourself those 20 minutes to be present, be in the moment, and push yourself. Or Trey and I were just talking about stretching. Take that 20 minutes, stretch out, make sure your body's healthy, make sure you are listening to your body. And so after the national championship, it was kind of that bittersweet moment, because unlike a lot of other countries, you can't play field hockey after college. There's no club system. And so I was thinking about going to coaching. And then in December, I got a call from the U.S. women's national team coach asking me if I'd like to come out and do a trial. And after those 2 weeks, I was named to the U.S. women's national team. And it was obviously a dream come true. I called my dad. Don't tell him. Oh, my mom's probably going to be mad hopefully my mom doesn't see this. I called my dad first. I'm a daddy's hero. And called him, and he started crying. I've seen my dad probably cry twice in my life. And he's crying on the phone. I'm crying on the phone. I'm like, wow, this dream come true. Like, I get to join the U.S. team. And it was kind of like that. I joined the team, and it goes from high school to college. So you go from being the best in college, right? So you're at the peak of your level. You think you're really good. And then you join the U.S. team, and I'm then again on the bottom. And what you thought was hard is now harder. And how can I become a better goalkeeper? And thankfully, Jackie Briggs and Alicia Whitall did return, and there was Lauren Blazing, who was a year above me. So those two were there to kind of help guide me with my career. And I remember Jackie, I think she was very hard on me, and I appreciated that because it made me that much better of a goalkeeper. She didn't want the goalkeeping unit to lower their standards just because of maybe like 1 or 2 weak links. She always pushed me in every way that I could. I remember I still hear her to this day when I'm running. Like, you have to make this sprint. You have to do this. And I think that's a kind of teammate, that's kind of expectation that you need to demand in a teammate, is that they need to push themselves every time they can do, every time they're out, every time they're doing a sprint. And so this was, the top photo was 2 years ago, or last year, actually, sorry. Last year, Erin Matson got her 50th cap, I believe. And this bottom right photo is probably my favorite photo ever taken. This little girl is walking around asking people to find me. She's trying to find me, and she's like pointing out. She's like, I'm trying to find this girl. And I was like, okay. And she had no idea who I was. She just wanted to meet me. And I love that, because that little girl is when I'm really tired and I don't know if I can make the next sprint. I'm thinking, all right, I need to make it because this little kid is watching me, and I need to do everything I can to be better. And it's kind of the reason why you push yourself. I really, really, I love reaching out to fans, and I love, not fans, but younger players, and kind of sharing my story. I think that's kind of why you play. And then this is the daily life of what it's like to be on the U.S. team. So Monday we have a gym session, then we usually have a team meeting. And then we have practice from 2:30 to 4:30, or it could be 3 to 5. And that one's usually kind of small scrimmages. Then Tuesdays we have double practice. Wednesday is gym, Thursday practice, Friday practice gym, Saturday conditioning, Sunday off. We usually train every 3 weeks and we get Friday, Saturday, Sunday off, and then every 6 weeks we get a week off because we try to push our bodies to a certain level that we kind of need to just take a week off. / if you have 28 girls together for 6 weeks, we kind of can get a little chippy at each other. So the 6 weeks we usually do not talk to each other. We take time away from ourselves. My favorite day is usually Monday because it's leg day, and it's usually squats or some type of leg movement. I really enjoy that. Wednesday is usually an upper body day, and Friday is a mixture of both. So I really like those. I like Mondays. And our practices, they're always usually 2 hours long, which includes a 10-minute warm-up. And then for goalies, we have a goalie coach, so we take about 10 minutes. We take about 30 minutes with Dave Williamson, and we'll have a nice goalie session. But usually during the week, we always try to include some video sessions. And yeah, it's a nice weekly schedule. And sorry, you're good. So like I said, when I first joined the team, I wasn't playing my best, and I was mentally struggling because I wasn't getting game time. I was doing everything that everyone else was doing, but I wasn't getting the game time. So I talked to my head coach, and my head coach decided that she was going to send me to Ireland. And I went over there and played for 7 months, and it was probably the best decision of my life because it made me realize how much I loved the game of field hockey. It was fun to me again because I almost felt like prior to that, like the first year on the team, it was a job that I was just showing up every day, and I kind of lost that love and drive and why I do it. So when I went to Ireland, no one was watching me when I was doing my workouts. No one was checking in if I was playing. No one was checking in on what I was doing. It was strictly just because I loved the game and I wanted to improve and come back and be better. So then I played for Old Alex. So this is a team that I played with, but I also trained with a men's team to help improve my reaction speed. And I remember the first day showing up to practice with the men's team, and they said, no, let's not shoot the ball high at her. Let's only keep it on the ground. And I was like, you guys can shoot the ball high. And next guy shot the ball high, and I made the save. And I was like, here to prove it. Here to prove you wrong. And I was like, yeah. And then I also trained with the UCD team, which is where most of the Irish national team girls play. So kind of getting a mixture of everything and just challenging my perspective as a goalkeeper. I had a new goalie coach over there. He was making me think goalkeeping in different ways, which was always nice. And I really, really loved it. And I came back from Ireland, and then literally a week later I was on a plane to Chile playing with the U.S. developmental team. So they're the team under the U.S. women's team. And it was my time to prove what I've been doing the last 7 months. And I thankfully against Chile, I had a really good series. And then 3 months later, I found myself getting my first game with the U.S. team in Japan. And what a great place to get it. It's a very different culture. And the very first game that I ever played, I remember they hand you your U.S. jersey right before the game. And you're like, wow, this is everything. You hear the national anthem, and you try not to cry. You're like keeping all these emotions in. And following the game, I remember Yannicka saying to me right prior to the game, just being like, go out there, have fun. There's no pressure. You can, you're good. You're fine. I was like, thank you. And in my very first cap with the U.S., so that's my very first game with the U.S., I was actually queen of the match, so player of the game, which is pretty wild, pretty crazy. And I thank my teammates because obviously they're giving me low-angled shots, but kind of thinking about everything that I've put in, all the work that I put in the last year when no one was watching, that everything came down to that moment of me being able to get my first cap, be able to play my first game, and then being player of the game was just a bonus. Everything, all of the hard work was rewarded. And then over the past kind of 2 years, I've been getting games here and there and had the chance to play and travel all over the world. My family, once again, they're just adorable. I have to add them in all these photos. Come on, look at that. #1 fan club. My sister, my mom, my dad, and over the past few months, years, actually the past year and a half, I've had the chance to travel to Belgium, Chile, China, Japan, Ireland, Holland, Australia, New Zealand, and Argentina, which is pretty cool because I'm only 20. Oh, I just turned 26. I turned 26, and to be able to experience all these different cultures and see the world like this is a dream come true. To be able to put the U.S. jersey on is incredible feeling. Kind of never thought it would happen. I had posters of the U.S. team on my walls and kind of a vision board where I'd like to be one day, and it was always Syracuse in USA. And to be able to have those come true is really, really incredible. I'm very, very grateful and very humble for the people that I've come across and have gotten to know, and the people have pushed me to be better, and people that have helped me in my hard times, because this life isn't easy. Sometimes you get down on yourself and you're like, why am I doing this? But my teammates and my coaches always push me to be better. And I'm really grateful for this opportunity.